Hi, I'm going to show you how to get started with Zing by adding a data source, querying that data, both visually and with natural language, doing this on iOS, Android, and the web, setting up real-time alerts, sharing charts, and creating dashboards. Let's dive into it. First, I'm going to create an account on Zing at zingdata.com. In this case, I could log in with my existing account since I've already got one, or I could create a new one using Google Single Sign-On, and now I'm going to connect a data source. If I'd like, I can upload an Excel or CSV file, connect to my Google Sheets, or add a database. I can have multiple data sources living side by side. In this case, I'm going to connect to my Postgres data source. I drop in my host name, my port, my database and schema names, my username and password, and if my database requires it, I'll turn on Require SSL or Require SSH. And then I'll hit Check Connection. That will show me the tables that are available for my data source. I've already got a data source set up, but you can see what that Check Connection data step looks like because you can choose to include all tables or only certain ones to be queryable. Zing ensures that it can connect to that data source so that you know everything's set up correctly. Once you've set up a data source, you can go invite colleagues if you'd like. We go to the Invitations tab and hit Invite Users. In this case, we'll invite our colleague Jessica. We hit the plus here, and we give her a role, editor, viewer, or admin. In this case, I'm going to give her an administrator role because she's also on the data science team. And I'm going to hit Invite. Now I can go start querying this. If I'd like, I have additional settings I can set under organizations and data sources. I can create joins or upgrade my account. But for now, let's get into querying the data. So I'm going to hit Zing app in the top right. Now I'm going to ask a question using the Visual Query Builder. So I'm going to go look at my customers and figure out how many of them are in each country. So I'm going to count customer ID, and I tap on that field to say that I want to get the count distinct instead of the sum. And I drag country to the x-axis to get that split. Now I may want to get that cut by some dimension, so here I'll drag gender to the dimensional cut, and I'll see the distribution. Maybe I want to view this as a stacked bar chart though, and so I can quickly change the chart type or add additional filters simply by dragging these fields to the appropriate dimensions, filters, or axes. If I'd like, I can also create calculated fields by clicking Add Calculated Field, and I have the full power of SQL. In this case, I don't need a calculated field, so I'll just leave it as is. I can also format it in my series. So for instance, I see female here is represented as blue, but I'd actually like to make that, let's say, pink or red. Now I can take this chart and mention colleagues if I'd like. So for instance, and now this question where I tagged a colleague turns into a conversation thread. I'll save this question and give it a name. Customers by country and gender. Great. Now I'm going to use natural language to ask a question. I simply tap in the search bar and define up here the data source that I'd like to query. In this case, it will be Dell Store. I can ask a question like, which products are selling the best? And to answer this question, Zing actually figures out that there's two tables which are relevant. The products table, which contains information about the product, like title, and the order lines table, which contains information about the quantity sold of each product. Now, importantly, I did nothing to pre-create this join. Zing automatically recognized that these two tables were necessary in order to answer my question and created the join on the fly. I can also choose if I want to pull in other attributes from these tables or create a calculated field to enhance my analysis. In this case, that I'd like to sort this based on the y-axis value. And I'd like to see sort of the highest values. So now I can see the values for the products that are selling best. And you'll notice Zing also automatically paginates for me. So I can drag through this graph to go see all my values without having to worry about applying limits or anything else to my query. I'll save this as best-selling products. And now that I look at it, I might actually want to sort this instead and have it as a table. So I'm going to change it to a data table type. And if I'd like, I have the full ability to filter on values or sort as I'd like here. I can also take this and save it down as a CSV, or if I have a graph, I can save it down to my photo gallery. Let me show you one more thing, and to do that I'm going to hop over to my mobile phone. I can download the Zing app from zingdata.com, the Apple App Store, or the Google Play Store. I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to log in to my Zing account once the app is downloaded. Now I'll log in. And I see all those questions I just asked available to me. So I can go see my best-selling products that we created before as a table. I can go see my customers by country and gender simply by clicking into them. I can also zoom in and have a totally interactive experience here. Now I'm going to do one more thing, which is use natural language from my phone. So I'm going to say that I want to go look back at my store data and ask, let's say, what products have less than 50 units of inventory? And again, I haven't pre-created any dashboard, any join. Zing automatically figures out here that products and inventory are the two relevant tables, and it creates that join on the fly. Now, if I want to, let's say, show quantity in stock, I can add that here, and it runs live against my data warehouse. I'll run this, save it, and this table is pulling from both my products table, which contains title, and my inventory table, which contains how many units there are in stock. If I'd like, I can easily share this with other people in my organization as a viewer, editor, or using their specific email address. I can choose which role I'd like them to have. One last thing I'm going to do is go use some time series data and set up alerts. So in my order details for this Dell example I have, I'm going to go look at my orders. And I'm going to specify that I'd like to see the total amount sold. So I'll drag that to the y-axis. And I'd like to see that by order date. Now, Zing automatically here is casting order date as a month, and I actually like to have it as a day. And I'd like to see actually how much of my order amount is tax. So I'm going to add tax as another field. See, it's relatively low, so actually maybe I don't need it there. Fine. Now, I'm going to hit run, and I'll save this question as order amount over time. And I can tap these three dots to create an alert. So I want to get notified whenever my order amount, day on day, changes by, let's say, more than 10%. I'd like to get a push notification when that happens. Or if I'd like, I can turn on an email. I can have Zing check as frequently as every minute for changes in my data, or as infrequently as every month. I'll get notified whenever that change happens, and I can easily dig into what's causing that change just by tapping these three dots and hitting Make a Copy to add additional dimensional splits. Finally, I can take any of these questions and put them together into a dashboard. I just scroll down to Dashboard, hit the plus, and drag any of the questions that I've created onto this dashboard. I can do this, of course, on web, but here I've done it from my phone. And it's really simple to create dashboards, questions, and alerts from wherever you are with Zing. You can try it out for yourself at zingdata.com. There's a free tier, which allows you to invite up to 3 people at your organization. And we support all the major data sources you might have, including Postgres, MySQL, Snowflake, Google BigQuery, Excel, CSVs, ClickHouse, Google Sheets, and so on. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us and we're happy to help get you started. Thanks so much.